Welcome to your astrology and spirituality overview for Tuesday, the 2nd of March. Today we're using the Soul Purpose Oracle card. So let's see what comes up for us today.
We do have challenges, like when the same card keeps coming out.
Yeah, we tend to have that happen, and maybe it's like law of attraction type stuff going on there. So the card that comes up here says, regret. I know that I cannot change the past. This is so similar as well to the theme that we pulled yesterday with those 5 of Cups. So this is what we're also talking about in terms of the same message coming up. But usually when this happens, there is something that we all can learn from that. Now, regret is it's like we said yesterday, it's that thing that we should have done something or we could have done something. I think it's really important to have those thoughts sometimes because otherwise we wouldn't change our futures.
So to actually grieve something that didn't work out rather than just, the sort of the standard response is, oh, don't dwell on it, just get on with it. Or get over it as a term that's gone around in recent years. But actually it's important as humans to process things that we're disappointing.
Yeah.
If we don't process them, they can just become a massive of sort of sadness, or we're kind of living in a denial and we become almost like stress carriers. We're like, yes, I'm amazing. But actually people can feel that you're not amazing at all.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think something from our life that kind of happened recently is that we put some stuff into storage, and it was a lot of all of our possessions basically, and for one reason or another those things have been destroyed. So the regret in my point of view from that is, should we have put it in storage? But we can't always know what's going to happen. But that doesn't mean that we still can't feel the pain of something happening. And so I think that is a really important thing to know, that we can grieve something. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant point, especially in Western culture. It's just so to grieve or show sadness.
Yeah.
Certainly in British culture, it has been the case.
Definitely.
Yeah, just move on. Mm-hmm. I've heard these messages a lot in my life, to be honest, from people very close to me, because actually really they're not bothered they don't really want to invest in your pain or your disappointment, because they haven't really got time for it, because perhaps they're more focused on themselves. But it's very dismissive. When people are very dismissive of our emotions, it can be very frustrating and very hurtful. So I think you're right. And then the other side of it is that if we have had difficulties in our life, not to be dominated by our regrets, to eventually work through the disappointments, to move into the present, so we actually don't get completely controlled by the past. Yeah. And that is another thing that does take determination and insight to move on, but only move on at our own pace. And I always feel that when I speak to clients and maybe they've had some losses, everybody's grieving goes at a different pace, and I don't feel there's a rule book on it. And some people can feel pain all their lives, and I don't feel people should judge that. It doesn't make them weak or that they didn't want to. It was so devastating, such as, for example, if you lose a parent when you're very, very young, or you're separated from a parent when you're very young, or there's abuse and all these kind of stuff. You can't suddenly get over the regret of the circumstances.
And we all have those different modes of being. One day we can be a bit more laughy and jokey, and you've probably seen that with us on the show. And then another day things are maybe a bit more serious because we're talking about a serious topic, or perhaps things more serious are going on in our own lives. And that's the same for all of us, that we aren't just one thing. And I think we need to just be a little bit more conscious that everybody has those modes, and be more gentle with ourselves when we have those modes.
I think Lisa has summed that up absolutely magnificently. Thank you so much for that, and with real conviction. Now, when it comes to conviction, the moon's in Libra and it's squaring to Pluto. So we could encounter someone today who is a kind of like, I'll get over it type of character, because that's Pluto in Capricorn, sort of like tough nut, And the Libran moon needs equilibrium. It needs to find its balance. And if there is something that needs to be ventilated through the air dimension of the moon in Libra, then we should do it. But we may find that someone is a bit heavy about it, or maybe there is just a heaviness around an emotional relationship, particularly a family relationship, I would say, with the moon square Pluto, where there's some kind of power attached to the emotion. But that could happen with a boss or a line manager, for sure. But thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great Tuesday. Please see beneath this video for your free daily horoscope. And from the A team, it is...
Goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from us.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.